Hello guys, I have an update on the Mortal Kombat movie, and I have some good news for any potential people who'd want to see a sequel to Mortal Kombat. Well, the movie is apparently no longer a flop because I don't know why I made the mistake of kept using the numbers box office, but they actually have updated internationally. Box office here has made 82 million international, very similar to Tom and Jerry. So the movie made around 125 million worldwide, and this is the budget for the movie is around 55 million dollars. So it needs to make around 110 million to 120 million at the most, 120 million to break even, and the movie has made 125. The movie has made 124 million. This is very similar to Tom and Jerry, where Tom and Jerry basically made back its money too, despite being panned by of course the critics. It's Tom and Jerry. I think even had Tom and Jerry has a bigger budget. Actually, has a bigger budget than Mortal Kombat. $79 million budget according to Wikipedia. But some list it as around 50. Some sites list it as $50 million budget. And 79 million. So the budget is from 50 million to 79 million. Basically, I see the 79 million more than 50 million, but 50 million is also shown as well. I always use the $50 million budget, but if this is 79 million, that means this movie needs to make like $150 million. Yeah, Wikipedia says $179 million. So that means Mortal Kombat is not a flop, and Tom and Jerry is, which is a pretty interesting thing. But yeah, we have Mortal Kombat was seen to make around 110 million to 100. Even if we did it need to make like $110 million as a $50 million budget, $55 million budget. Wikipedia I think lists that higher, but Google says $55 million budget. So yeah, $55 million budget. It says $55 million budget, 124 million worldwide. So this movie is no longer a commercial failure at the box office. But then we have Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is all over the place. When it comes to budget, some say but half of them say 50 million, half of them say Dell. So Tom and Jerry, it might not be a flop, it might be a flop. So because Tom and Jerry's budget ranges from 50 million all the way to like $80 million budget. And it says 120 million dollars worldwide. And I think this is one of those movies if they lose money in the theaters, even if it lose money in the theaters, it will make back money in other revenue streams. Same thing with Mortal Kombat. So I'm not gonna list it as a box office failure like I did Mortal Kombat because I assumed because of course the numbers of course only lists Mortal Kombat. At 82 million. Whereas the older movie box says, of course, it's a flop because he uses the numbers. So the numbers has outdated box office information, especially pertaining to international box office. No box office, well, it is around 120 million worldwide, and this movie is considered a flop because he's using the numbers. Same thing with Wrath of Man, which made a similar amount of money. The box office, Wrath of Man making around $120 million as well. Well, movie like Spyro is still a flop at some negative $4 million right now, but Spyro should make back its money through other revenue streams. So I could remove that from box office failures, but I'm probably gonna remove that as well. I might add Tom and Jerry, but Tom and Jerry I think does like they'll still be able to make back its money through other revenue streams. Tom and Jerry, because Tom and Jerry is very popular, it was a pretty popular movie in the theaters. Tom and Jerry still be able to make back its money through other revenue streams as well. And and Cruella might be another one of those movies. The budget is truly $100 million. Cruella should make back its money as well through other revenue streams as well. But yeah, Wrath of Man was now it actually have adjusted it to only 95 million. Yeah. Wrath of Man's but worldwide was been adjusted down to 95 million. I don't know if they're excluding the Chinese sales. I think they're excluding the Chinese sales because they made like 50 million, a lot of money. Oh, that does the Chinese sales. It made $24 million there. Okay, Wrath of Man, but I think it's around 60 million. So yeah, Wrath of Man. Wikipedia still says 127 million, so it might be just an error with that movie. I'm not gonna put on the flop list yet if it's not changed. And it says $95 million worldwide. So the budget, the movie's gross was changed back. Yeah, and Wrath of Man budget was actually $40 million. $40 million. So the movie is not a flop then. $40 million budget. That's it. Basically, yeah. Yeah, $40 million budget, 16 million. No, that's some other movie. I think I think that's Nobody. 16 million. Nobody made 16 million. Wrath of Man is not a flop anyways. It had a $40 million budget, so that's basically about this video. Mortal Kombat is not a flop. Basically, then Mortal Kombat actually is a box office success, not a box office failure. Yeah. Yeah. And it is pretty interesting. Tom and Jerry, the budget is all over the place. It's either a box office failure, because some of them say it's $70 million budget, which means it's a box office failure. But it's still only a small loss compared to Raya and Cruella and Cruella and other bigger movies. And Spirit Untamed, which lost way more money than this movie, if he did. It only lost like $15 million in the theaters, which again they can probably make back its money on HBO Max and of course other revenue streams such as Blu-ray and DVD. Because this movie will probably still show on Blu-ray and DVD because it's still Tom and Jerry. Okay? And of course, let's not forget other revenue streams in other countries as well, which make this movie and Mortal Kombat, even if Mortal Kombat loses like $2 to $3 million, would basically make back its entire money. Basically. So that's basically about this video. Goodbye.